Welcome to today's show. Today I'll be breaking down the top 5 defensive backs of this 2019 free agent class. This is a group of guys that are mainly young. There's only one veteran, and they've all been very, very good at tackling and pass coverage. So let's break it down. Number 5 on this list is Adrian Amos of the Chicago Bears. He's 26 years old, one of the youngest guys in this list. This past season, he had 2 interceptions, 1 sack, 9 passes defensed. Very impressive. This is a guy that can play both safety positions, free safety and strong, and he is capable of just wrecking havoc on the back end of your defense. This is a guy that will probably re-sign with the Chicago Bears, but will have a very good year again next year. Next on this list is cornerback Brian Poole. I love this guy. This guy had probably a career year with 74 tackles, 3 interceptions, 3 sacks, and 6 passes defensed. If he has another year like that again, that's going to rise his stock to being one of the best corners in this league. He was a slot corner mainly for the Falcons this past year, but this is a guy that expected to become the number 1 guy for certain teams. An example would be the Carolina Panthers that badly need that starting cornerback since Josh Norman left them. This is a guy that probably can do it all, probably even bring it in to a safety position if you ask him to. Number 3 on this list is Jason Verrett of the Chargers. He was on IR this year, didn't play, but it's hard telling what exactly kind of year he would have had. His best year was in 2015, where he had 3 interceptions, 1 defensive touchdown. This is a guy that's a former first-round pick by the Chargers just a few years ago. He's 28 years old, so there's still time for him to kind of develop himself and really make a name for himself, but it's hard telling. He's in the middle of the pack for a reason. Number 2 on this list is safety slash corner slash everything. He's the honey badger himself, a guy that can do it all. Tyrann Mathieu, 27 years old. This past season, he played for the Texans, having 89 tackles, 2 interceptions, 3 sacks, and 8 passes defensed. He can do it all. I just when the Cardinals released him just 1 year ago, I thought it was a total mistake. The Texans proved him, truly to be a mistake. I mean, this guy is one of the better defensive backs in this league, regardless of who you talk about. Definitely one of my favorite players, and I also appreciate him taking football seriously. Coming into the draft, he had drug issues. He's stepped away from that stuff, and he's become a much more mature player, and he is just producing on the field at an unreal rate. And he's still young, so you can definitely get years out of him. I expect a long-term contract for this player, and he'll probably have another year like this again next year. Number 1 on this list is Earl Thomas III, the best defensive back in this free agent class and the best safety this year. He was injured early in the season due to leg injury, but in the games he played, which was 4 to 5 games, 22 tackles, 3 interceptions, 5 passes defense. It's unreal. Had he played an entire year, we're talking potentially he could have broken a record for interceptions. That's how good this player was. His best year, though, was in 2013, where he had 105 tackles, 5 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. This is a guy that was a huge part of the Legion of Boom, along with Cam Chancellor, who is now retired. Now that the Seahawks are pushing all the original Legion of Boom players away, they're trying to recreate themselves. I expect Earl Thomas to actually go to the Cowboys, which the Cowboys are trying to trade from earlier this past season, will just come to the Cowboys on a long-term contract. He is 30 years old. He's the oldest guy on this list, but he plays like he just came out of the league. It's unreal. So that's the top 5 defensive backs of this 2019 free agent class. If you're interested in looking at the total top 100 list that I've created, I took a set of 177 qualifying players and brought it down to 100, and I break each player down based on their stats this past season, for best years, for age, for potential, for teams that might go to them, whole 9 yards. Very exciting stuff. Thank you.